From a Republican takeover to a presidential do-over. Hi, everyone. Glad to have you. I'm Neil Cavuto. And maybe just call it a case of midterm deja vu. Or is it? President Obama giving very little ground after his party lost a lot of ground this past week.
As president, I have a unique responsibility to try and make this town work. So to everyone who voted, I want you to know that I hear you. To the two-thirds of voters who chose not to participate in the process yesterday, I hear you too.
Two-thirds thing, just a little zing. Anyway, it was a far cry from another Democratic president 20 years ago, the very same week.
I think that I have some responsibility for it. I'm the president. I'm the leader of the efforts that we have made in the last 2 years. And to whatever extent that we didn't do what the people wanted us to do, or they were not aware of what we had done, I must certainly bear my share of responsibility, and I accept that.
I must bear responsibility. Interesting. That led to a bipartisan party, no matter what you think of Bill Clinton. Are we looking at the party ending before it even starts? To Ben Stein, Charles Payne, Dagan McDowell, along with Adam Lashinsky and Charlie Gasparino. This is the first time in a long time everybody's here.
Woo!
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Down.
All right. You know, Dagan, that was, I don't know if that was such a great idea. Anyway, I'm kidding. Charles Payne, what do you make of this and the difference, the contrast between?
Well, the contrasts were striking, but I think what you didn't get was that President Obama overwhelmingly won the two-thirds who didn't vote. So that's the part that you missed.
Yeah, why did he say that? You know what I'm saying? Like, why did he say that? You know? It was like for no reason.
Yeah, well, he's just letting you know he's still in charge.
Yeah.
Bill Clinton set the template for this, how it should be done. You would think that if the president does care about his legacy just half as much as Michael Jordan talking smack about his golf game, we get something on taxes, we get something on Keystone. You would think and hope. We don't know.
There's no reason to think in the next 2 years that the administration, is going to be any different than the last 6. Highly partisan, pushing very liberal policies. No reason, because he's going to have to work with other people, accept something less than everything that he wants, and actually share responsibility for something if it goes right or if it goes wrong. Not going to happen.
But if you don't own up to being among the contributing factors for a horrible day,
why would he do that?
Well, exactly. So you got to wonder then, where do we go from here?
Listen, the smart thing would be for him to compromise on a few basic parts of Obamacare. Dodd-Frank, maybe some targeted tax cuts. The economy would grow, I think, fairly significant. One of the problems in the jobs numbers is that wage growth is still pretty crummy.
True enough.
And we'd be better. And you know what? He'd probably elect Hillary Clinton president, but he won't do it. He can't. Saul Alinsky is talking to him every day, and he will not do it. From the grave.
You know, it's interesting. We haven't had the pleasure of your company for a while here, but you're still a hater.
Yes.
You are still a hater.
And I can still throw those.
I deeply admire
those terms
that
like Saul, those people like Saul Alinsky at you, right?
All right, Ben Stein, what do you make of that, and whether the appetite for change is there or not?
Well, I think it's quite fascinating to me that Mr. Clinton showed himself to be more pragmatic when things turned against him, whereas Mr. Obama is showing himself to be more ideologically rigid. There is something he is such an amiable guy and so friendly and outgoing in his persona, but in his politics so extremely rigid. And by the way, I don't think he really has a program for the next 2 years. I don't think he really had any meaningful program after Obamacare except to disarm America and make us weak in the eyes of our enemies. And I don't think he really has any idea of what to do except to continue doing, as you say, as my friend Charlie said, channel Saul Alinsky from beyond the grave.
You know, Adam Lashinsky, do you, as someone who has been very supportive of a lot of the president's efforts, feel some frustration that he didn't see the significance or the ramifications of the vote this week?
Sure. I think we would. It's sort of obvious that Bill Clinton is a far superior politician than Barack Obama, and that showed in the clip that you played. It's also important to show, Neil, that Bill Clinton was in his first term midterm elections, and he wanted to get elected president again. President Obama
this all the more worries me. You just said something that all the more worries me. This president has no reason to do a mea culpa, no reason to come back and be productive.
Yes and no. I mean, Charles hit on it. He does have his legacy
yes or
to
no?
concern him. I said yes and no. He does not have reason to be reelected again, but he does have his legacy in mind. And, you know, he's facing, we focused so far on the fact that he's rigid or he's ideological. Obviously, the Republicans have been too. You
know, I think that is what
the Republicans won. The Republicans
just one quick point.
Adam, no, I do want to, and I will let you finish that, and then I'll let, others weigh in here. But come on. He said when he got elected, elections have consequences. And he was right. Now, I'm just wondering why they only have consequences when he wins.
I agree. No argument against that. But what I will say is that, you know, I think the president should lead. I think he should say, here are my policies, here's where I'm willing to compromise. There has been no indication from John Boehner that he's
Mitch
at all
McConnell
interested in compromising.
Mitch McConnell
Zero.
You know, here's the thing, Adam. I think you and a lot of reporters out there.
And are you going to explain to people who Saul Alinsky was? I mean, I know who he was.
They can use the Google. I think our viewers are smart enough.
They can use the Google. I like that Google thing. That's going to be big. It's going to be big.
I think what Adam and what a lot of mainstream reporters don't understand or won't admit is that the Democratic Party has changed immensely since Bill Clinton was president. This is the new radical party. For all the trees they've cut down, and newspaper, that space that they've devoted to the Tea Party radicals.
You don't think this week changes that?
No, I think Barack Obama is channeling what the Democratic Party is, which is an extreme party. The extremists control the Democratic Party.
Well, that part of the party had its ass handed to it. So now, wouldn't you think practicality, Charles Payne,
front page headlines
could compel them
front page headlines? One of the things that President Obama got away with saying the GOP was the party of no was that very few bills hit his desk. Harry Reid will not be there anymore to stop this. When these bills start hitting his desk, he will have to explain to the American people why he said no. Why did you say no to something that seems pretty good on paper? Repatriation of taxes. They'll give you a little bit for infrastructure. You don't like that one. What about lower taxes here? What about Keystone? When they hit your desk and you have to sign them or veto them. No, forget about immigration. We're talking about economic things right off the bat. Adam, when they hit his desk, he's going to have to explain to the American people.
He doesn't want immigration reform. He wants amnesty.
No, they're going to
That's the problem.
They're going to take one.
We'll be getting into that issue, but in the meantime, Dagan, do you buy what these guys are saying, that the president really doesn't want to compromise?
No, he and the administration will use one giant paintbrush to paint conservatives, paint Republicans as wacko right-wingers for the next 2 years, trying to get Hillary Clinton elected.
That's going to be kind of hard to do.
Well, he thinks he won. I mean,
right, Ben?
Neil,
I don't
with
agree
the greatest
with you.
possible
I don't
respect, I think with the greatest possible respect to Neil and Adam, I think he thinks he won. I think that's why he made that comment about the two-thirds who didn't vote. I think what he essentially said was, had those two-thirds won,
no, I think you're right.
I would have voted. I would have won, and therefore I won.
He was saying that this election and these results are not valid. That I don't have to pay attention to them because these people didn't vote.
Exactly right.
That's how I
and remember what also he said. He goes, I want to make this town work. What the hell does that mean, this town? I mean, I know what it means, but if you're the president of the United States, you would think, I'm going to make the country better. I'm going to try to get wages up.
Fair and balanced. Let's see if Adam can defend this indefensible position. Adam.
It's important that we get to your question early on, Neil, which is the two-thirds question. He was saying, I hear the people who didn't bother voting, and he's upset about that. He says, I wish they had voted. I wish they had participated.
Why mention
and he was taking responsibility.
If it wasn't meant to be a dig at Republicans, why mention it?
No, but it's his fault. I think he's owning up to it's his fault that people are upset with the way Washington works. And I think he will work with the Republicans.
Not at all.
No way.
Not at all. He says he won. He thinks he won. He thinks he won.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
he didn't say that.
Well, he kind of did.
He thinks he's the king, too.
He doesn't think he's the king.
He does, absolutely. He does.
All right, meanwhile, the president.
You're the king.